And action.
Please welcome Mr. Red Weemat.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Hello, folks. It is September 26, 2022. And here I am, Red Weemat. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody that wrote a review on Amazon on the book. I'm up to 98 people. Out of all the books, I've sold hundreds of thousands, but the truth of the matter is I've only got 98 reviews on Amazon, but I thank everybody, especially the people that wrote them over the weekend. And you folks that bought them over the weekend from me, autographed, they've been shipped, but due to the hurricane that's coming up our way, who knows? When I was at the post office, they told me they expected a delivery by next Monday, but that's what they expect. Who knows? Maybe it'll get out of here fast enough. I don't know exactly how bad we're going to get hit or whatever, but we'll see. Last time it wasn't too good. 2018. October 10th, 2018, we got hit pretty bad. But at any rate, I guess I want to get into the story. It was 1974. That may seem like a long time ago to some of you, but at the time, a couple of years before that, they made poppers illegal. And poppers were amyl nitrate. And you might have seen them on a football field. It's kind of like smelling salts. They snap them. That's why they call them pop. And they put them in front of somebody's nose. Well, they were being misused. A lot of people were using them for different things that they shouldn't have been using them for. One of the things that they used them for was an aphrodisiac. So when they were having sex, they'd pop it in front of their partner's nose or their nose, and somehow it did something for them. I never used them. I can't tell you what it's all about. But anyway, I came up with this rocket scientist idea to make Rush. And when I did, it was kind of interesting because I noticed that the chemical for poppers was amyl alcohol. So I consulted with an attorney and I said, what if I made something but didn't use amyl alcohol? And he said, that would be a chemical and that's not illegal. So I rush off to the library at Northwestern, that was in Evanston, and I read up on some books on different chemicals, on alcohols, different alcohols. And there was a cross reference on a chemical called N-butyl alcohol. And N-butyl alcohol was originally designed and invented as a rocket fuel. They were using it on jet airplanes in 1947, but they discontinued the use of it. So I was looking at it and saying, well, okay, what we have to do here is make up a sample batch to see if it has the same effects as the amyl alcohol. So hold on a second here. I'm saving up on water because of the hurricane. So anyway, what happened, I went over, got the catalog out and ordered a 3-neck beaker from Fisher Scientific and corks that went in them. And I also ordered a thermometer and that went in one of the corks. There was another one that was used for, we corked the end one up for putting things in and out, but that was cork solid. These other corks had holes in the center of them so you could introduce acid into the mixture to make it. So I got the water, I got the chemicals and everything, and I put them into the beaker. I think that was a 750 milliliter beaker, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe more. Might have been about 1,200. It was a good sized beaker. It was about that big, and it had 3 necks coming off out the top of it. It was round. But anyway, I brought it over to where Johnny Rodgers was staying, Alva Johnson Rodgers. Alva Johnson Rodgers was attached to Marshall Cafano. He got Marshall out of prison. He was a prison lawyer, jailhouse lawyer, and he got him out early. And as a result, Marshall got him out, and he brought him to Chicago, which was a big disaster. I mean, it really was. Marshall was not exactly a fit-in for the outfit, period. So I bring all these things over there to Dick Hoyt's apartment. Johnny Rodgers lived below him, and that was at 613 Racine Avenue, right across the street from Jimmy Kozos, the compound. The actual property was owned by Phil Amato, who was Jimmy Kozos' father-in-law. So I set everything up, and Johnny Rodgers was one of those kind of people that was a know-it-all kind of guy. I mean, you couldn't tell him anything. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And he brought with him this guy that was supposedly a chemist, but he was 3 sheets to the wind. Really 3 sheets to the wind. When we were starting to introduce the acid into the beaker, he was using a pipette where he was actually sucking up through this glass pipette amount of acid and then introducing it into the beaker. Well, it was supposed to be done like with an IV, like you'd see medical use, and it has to go in a little bit at a time. Well, as it was going in a little bit at a time, Rodgers wasn't listening to me, and he let this thing. He put too much acid in, and when you introduce acid into water, you got to do it very, very slowly. And as it was introduced, it was turning yellow. Clouds were coming up, the fumes were coming out. It was getting real bad. And he opened up the window for ventilation. We were right on a table on that side. And after he opened up the window for ventilation, I was looking around, and this guy with the pipette, I made a comment about him. I said, I never did know his name, but I said, be careful with that stuff. You're going to burn your mouth. I mean, really severely. And he said, oh, I take baths in this stuff. I wash my hands with it. Like I said, he was 3 sheets to the wind. But anyway, long and short is that it was the yellow fumes the gases were coming up, and they turn purple, and they turn all different kinds of colors. And the one hole had in the beaker, in the top, one of the necks, had a thermometer in it, so you could tell what the temperature is. Because the instructions said, that I read in making it, was do not let it go over a certain temperature. If it does, it will explode. And so you make this in a brine solution. The beaker has to be in. They had he bought this, I didn't. It was a styrofoam cooler. And the styrofoam cooler had ice in it and table salt. So it was a brine solution to cool it off, to keep it cool. Because it did get hot. It got very hot. When it went over 160, 170, 180, 200, 220, I started to get scared. I was ready to leave. Johnny Rodgers was shaking it and trying to cool it off. And he says, boy, if this thing gets up any higher, I'm throwing it out the window. He was going to throw it out in the alley. And Finally, I took control and just while he was shaking it, I just shut down the IV that went into it with the water and down into the water. So the acid was being introduced slower and it did calm down. So there's a yield of about maybe 1.5 inches that is the chemical. And you siphon the yield off and you take the rest, the waste, and you dispose of it. Well, they were throwing it down the toilet. They kept throwing it down the toilet. And it was Dick Hoyt's apartment. And Dick Hoyt comes in. He's watching this from a distance. He doesn't want to get too close to it. And he's watching and he sees it going. And there were like maybe 8 or 9 batches going into the toilet. And I told these guys, I said, that's going to eat the whole sewer system up. I mean, it's going to, and he said, oh no, the water's going to dilute it and everything else or whatever. And I said, well, you could have an explosion underneath in the sewers, even all the way out in the street, maybe a block away, who knows? So what happened was Dick Hoyt was watching this, and he went into the bathroom and he smoked Camel cigarettes, real short Camel cigarettes, no filter on them. And he went into the bathroom, and when he was in there, he was smoking a cigarette when he went in, and all of a sudden, boom, an explosion. The door came flying off of the bathroom. It was a hollow core door, and came flying off of the bathroom. Dick came running out with his pants down around his ankles, doing the 2-step. And he had some furry hair on his butt and his back, and that was on fire. So they were laughing. I got up and threw him a towel so he could put himself out. And there were flames coming up out of the toilet, outrageous. And I said, Dick, what'd you do? And he said, I just put the cigarette down in the toilet while I was, sitting on the pot. I said, wow. I said, you're lucky you got out of there alive. And it was kind of an event, so to speak. I was a little bit put off by it. And after that, I kind of tried to keep Johnny Rodgers away from me making any experimental decisions. But that's my story. And let's say hi to some of you people. Anthony, Street Stories, how you doing? Don't be sorry you're late. You made it. RV Doc. Bill Kirschmeyer. Yes, it was. It was an horrific reaction. Yeah, it did. What happened was all the water and waste and whatever blew all over the room, but the toilet did survive, Bill. Bill, can you see? Let's see. You see your car there behind me? Thank you. My car. You gave it to me. Thank you very much. So anyway, that's about the story. And we have Northshire Drive. How you doing, buddy? I hope it's a guy. How you doing? Ryan Brown. It's all well right now. Let's see what happens after the hurricane. Laura 6214, hello to you. And thank you for stopping by. If you like my stories, hit that like button and subscribe. Brad, you can't add rocket science to your resume. You think you're worthless Russian powers? Thank you, Michael. Love the comment. Love it, buddy. RV Doc, Red, when I was 16, I tried Rush at Great America on the top of the Eagle roller coaster. It was a crazy ride. I'll bet it was. The fumes from that stuff got to me. I mean, when I was manufacturing at the factory, after we got rid of this test thing, and I opened up a very large factory, and I had a folder reactor that actually did all this for me. It actually manufactured it, and it was metal and glass lined, and it was huge. It was like, I don't know, 18 feet in diameter, and they had a ladder going up to the top, so I could go up there. I bought a step ladder that goes up there, so you can put all the ingredients in and everything. But it was definitely, the fumes got to me. One time we had a line break in there, and everybody had problems, but not the same kind of problems that Dick had. I'll tell you that much. And the funny thing about it was funny in a way. I wasn't laughing at the time, but I did. Oh, Bill, your comments are great. No, I would never do that. I would never, first of all, I would never pour it down the toilet. Second of all, I would never take a cigarette butt and drop it between my legs and let that thing go up in the air like that. It scared Dick half to death. He was angry. But those guys were laughing. Johnny Rodgers had a smirk on his face, and he was laughing. Dan, I gotta tell you, if it made the beer come out of your nose, you should have been there to see it, because I still have the graphic image in my mind, especially the door. The door opened inwards into the bathroom. It didn't pull out. So when it came off, it blew off at the hinges. And there was Dick running out. It was bad. Real bad. Dave Maleska. Guys used to buy Rush and take a good sniff from a momentary high. Someone offered me some to Crazy Tommy, and he drank it thinking it was alcohol. Man, I accidentally siphoned some, and I called the Poison Control Center immediately, and they told me that I should drink a lot of milk, and if something happens, go to the emergency room. Jim Magnifici. So flush poppers became Rush poppers. Kind of. I also made generic brands. Rush was selling real good, but I kind of cornered the market. And I made a brand called Dr. Popper instead of Dr. Pepper. And I also made another one called Mr. Popper. And I also made one called Quicksilver. And we call that it was another corporation. It was Great Lakes Products Incorporated. Michael Graham, Red, did you sell your financial interest in Rush, or did it just go by the wayside? No, I sold my interest in it, and I'll tell you why. A man came around in 1985 or 86, and he was from the FDA. And there was a lot of research going on then about AIDS and HIV, not HIV, but AIDS itself. And they thought there was a connection with it. And they wanted to see if there was a connection with it. So he asked me how many bottles I sold, where I sold them, and did I keep a record of it. And I told him very little. I wasn't under oath, but I didn't give him all the information. I certainly didn't. Hello there, Big Tuna. Gee, smoke a lot. 420 time. Well, for all you people that need to take your medication, it's 420. The Big Kahuna. TBK. Hey, Red. Hope all is well. Can't wait to read your book and hopefully meet you someday. Curious, when was the last time you were in Chicago? 2017. We were looking for movie locations, and I went back. RV Doc, Red, bought a rush at Lakehurst Mall at Spencer's. Well, I don't know what year it was, but after I sold it off fast, and I sold it off cheap. I made several $1 million off of it. I made a lot of money off it. I even did a bedtime story about how I went out to Sammy Sokola's on Mannheim Road. Joey Lombardo sent Philomato with me, and we went all over Mannheim Road, every place that was there. It was just the Big Kahuna, TBK. I just did Frank Jr.'s tour. How was it? Tell us. Was it in Chicago? What was it all about? Tell us. Luminous Grin, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you here. Ryan Brown, I once made milk come out of a co-worker's nose because I said a joke that was funny. He was quite upset. I don't doubt it. There's nothing worse. I laugh a lot. You guys know that. But there's nothing worse than me laughing and trying to drink at the same time. This was a very comical, but dangerous thing that happened. That whole building could have burned. That would have been 2 apartments and the garage below it. It was 2 floors of apartments and a garage beneath it. And that whole building could have gone up. We were lucky. Did the outfit get a kick up from the rush? Yes. I gave Joey Lombardo a kick up for it. He definitely did. Trace, are you all stocked up with groceries and other stuff? Yes. And there's no activities. The sun's shining out real nice today up where I'm at. I'm in the Panhandle. I'm up at Panama City Beach. But it's way down there. It hasn't even come close to Cuba yet. So we'll see what happens. Yes, those are 2 chemicals you don't want to mix together either, Ryan. Anthony, you're definitely right. Royal Salute does not feel good up in the nose. I can tell you that much. Chief Smoke a lot. Red, was there any outfit business going on in North Shore suburbs? I used to go to Outfit Restaurant in Skokie. I really don't know. No places you eat at, pay through, they give you. I don't know. I really don't. Red, do you take your boat out on the water during this time of the season? Yes, I do, Mike. I definitely do. Well, Bill, I'll tell you, I don't have any MREs, and I won't need them, I don't think. If it hits here, I made it through Hurricane Michael, and that was very rough. We didn't have any electricity, any telephone poles. There was no cell phone service even in 2018 when Michael hit us. That was bad. But I can tell you this. I went out today and I bought some groceries, and the freezer's full, and I have a 25,000 watt generator to run the house. So I don't think I have a problem. The only thing I may be doing is barbecuing a lot after Thursday, because that's when it's supposed to be up by us. The big Coda, it was 5 stars. Frank booked 2 of us in his car personally on a 3-hour tour. It was last week of July, and then he went to Vegas. He works with the Mom Museum. Okay, that you're talking about Junior's review, Calabrese's review. That's great. I hope you had a good time, buddy. Dan, Red, I have an idea. You should do a live stream when the hurricane hits. What are my thoughts? When it hits, yeah, I could if I have internet. I mean, the last time we lost telephone poles, electricity, everything, so it was kind of hard to do it. We couldn't even. We didn't have what do you call it? Cell phone towers. They were knocked down, and they stayed down for about 3 months. I had a friend of mine that was over here from. His name is Bud Gibson, and he was over from Alabama. They came over to check on me, and he went home and posted on Facebook, Red's all right. We saved him, and he'll be back on Facebook soon. And that was nice of Bud. Really nice. Great guy. You know, I think it's going to make landfall, Jim, above Tampa. I really do. Don, I gotta tell you, it was a Cat 5 that came through here. There are 160-mile-an-hour winds, and it snapped every tree, every telephone pole, everything in 2018. But I don't think it's going to be that bad. It's the projections show it's slowing down. On Facebook, on my page, I have an update, and I'll keep putting it on Facebook, my update. Michael Graham, after today's story, Red's going to be known as the Red Plumber. Red the Plumber. LOL. Okay, buddy. I don't know. We got a lot of things to say. The Big Kahuna. Great time, Red. Chicago was amazing time. Went to LA Scrolla to eat, but didn't see Albi Vienna. No. I hear that they're in very poor health, and Albi doesn't go around very much. So there's stories about him and stories about him, but it's not like it used to be, guy. You had 2 duplex houses in the Key West, Key Largo. Chief spoke a lot, and 3 hurricanes hit Florida. That was in 2005. I remember Wilma. I lived in Palm Beach then. And Wilma was bad. All of them were bad. We had hurricanes in 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006. And I moved up here thinking I was safe. In 2018, I got hit. RV Doc, you may very well be right. It's a big wish. Leanne, rolling along. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank all of you for stopping by. Hit the like button, please. And subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Especially with this hurricane, I'll be giving you updates if something happens. And I will be on Adam's show Wednesday. The hurricane's not supposed to hit me anyway whatsoever till Thursday, so I should be. Well, I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad you're doing good, Leanne. Rolling along. That's great. Anthony from Street Stories. We were in Key Largo when Wilma hung. Oy, at the Garden of Eden. Anthony, you always give me a laugh. Always. Hello, George Wilson. I wish we could all meet up at the 15th Division, Melrose Park, Illinois. Well, that's a long stretch for my legs. Ryan Brown, Adam asked me the same question last night when I was talking to him on the phone. He said, what's the topic for Wednesday? And I said, let's get through Monday. I can't do it. Big Kona. I don't know if he said that or not. It was reported that he said that. He never said it in front of me. And we talk at least once a week. But he never said it to me. He could indict a cheeseburger under the RICO Act. The government could. No, he never said that to me. Or any place I heard it or heard him say it. Jim Magnifici. Didn't think you'd be on today, Red. Thought you might be shuttering the windows. The wind's not even blowing here yet. I mean, that thing is way down. It hasn't even come up to Miami yet. Or the Keys. It's still down there. I wish the Key properties were priced like West Virginia. Yeah, I do too, Anthony. It's expensive to live down there, let me tell you. So anybody want to tell me how many people we have in the room? How many people chatting? I really appreciate you guys showing up. I really do. Thank you. Thank you, Golf Boy. Thank you, Frank Ferrero. Thank you, Trace. All of you are different sections of the country, evidently. But you get different readings. But that's a good idea. I'm around 65, 66, whatever. Scott H., you're definitely right. The storm is like 4 days away. And Scott is over in Jacksonville. He's on the Space Coast. So it's a little different over there. A lot different. You got my 6, huh? Thank you, buddy. RV Doc. Appreciate it. Jim Magnifici, hit the like button, please. Thank you. Thank you. I got a kick out of, when I was reading my reviews on Amazon, I got a kick out of, but Nobody Cares and what I did about it, my book. Some of the people, they took my advice on here and they went over and wrote a review and they took a snapshot of the autograph copy because they were an Amazon customer. They could post, they'd bought something from Amazon before and they posted the review and they took a picture of where I autographed it to them. And below it, they all gave me good reviews. I mean, I haven't really got a bad one yet. So it was, here we go. We're getting into politics. The Big Kahuna. Am I a fan of Ron DeSantis? I certainly am. I certainly am. He's a great governor. He does a great deal for us, the people. He cares about the people more than he cares about the politicians. And that's the kind of politician I like. I really do. That's the kind of man I want for a governor, House of Representative, anything. Somebody that cares about us. Because the truth of the matter is, most of the people in Washington They don't care. They're supposed to represent our opinions and what we want in life. And they don't do it. They don't represent the majority. They represent themselves. Thank you. Thank you very much, Scott. Red, I got you get good reviews because you speak the truth. Yes, and there were a lot of people said they liked the short stories because I went from one chapter to another chapter telling a different short story. Wow, Minneapolis is nice. 63. It's 94 degrees here right now. I'm looking at the computer. Chief Smoke a lot. Red, I'm shooting Chi-Town. Any comment on the control shootings? No, none at all. I don't live there. We don't have that where I live. And that's why I live here. I love it. Do I like my governor? Yeah, I do. I really do. I don't care what party he belongs to. I don't belong to any club. I just like anybody that does anything for the people. He came out yesterday, day before yesterday, and said that he's taking all. We don't have any state income tax, but he decided any items to help other people under $25, he's taking the sales tax off. Any items. It could be a pan. It could be any household item. It could be toilet paper. It could be paper rolls, whatever. So I really do like him. Yes, how you doing, buddy? You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I want to thank you. Brandon, you got my book in South Carolina. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Did you write a review, Brandon? On Amazon? I can't keep track of all the names. I've only got 98, so I keep looking to see if there's any more. But if you didn't, I encourage anybody to do it. Please, it helps me. Big Kahuna. Red, did I ever run into the cast of Crime Story when they filmed it in Chicago? No, I didn't run into the cast altogether, but I ran into different people that were hanging out over at the Bird's Nest, Billy Kent's place, over on Wall Street. That's where Schweiss hung out, and a lot of the other guys hung out there too. Billy Kent was kind of instrumental in the gambling and other things in that area at the time. I never liked Dennis Farina anyway. George Wilson, does the name Fred Barbera mean anything? Have anything mean anything to anyone? I think you mean O-N-E. I have no idea. DeSantis is smart. Yeah, he was an attorney. They all were attorneys. That's a prerequisite for being a politician. You have to go to law school first. Otherwise, you never get anywhere. Yes, Ron DeSantis was a naval officer. He served our country well. He's a good family man. He's the kind of people that I like to represent me. I was kind of shaking in my boots because they were talking about having him run for president. And I said, we need him as a governor. We can't let him go yet. Oh, Bill, you bought. Okay, that's great. The Kurt Russell autograph photo you arrived. It looks cool. That's great. Bill Kirschmeyer, law school is a prerequisite sounds fishy. I don't know. I kind of like the idea. I'd like to know that they know the laws before they start making them or signing off bills that something goes into law. Michael Graham, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I can tell you this. Dennis Farina was the most corrupt detective that I ever met in the city of Chicago. And he did well to move on into the entertainment industry. He wasn't a very nice person at all. He played himself. He was a wise guy, smart ass. Didn't like him. That's my opinion. Okay, folks. Well, I enjoyed talking to you. Enjoyed everything today. Yes, he sure was. And we talked about him when Adam and I did a talk along. We did a watch party about the thief. And we did talk about him. At any rate, I thank all of you for stopping by and be safe. I know I'm going to try and be as safe as I can. And God bless all of you. And this is Red We Met on September 26th, 2022, and saying goodbye. God bless you all.